Hi again, session number 16, and hopefully you're all still there. Anyway, I just want to say thank you very much for all your very kind contributions, most kind. We did not expect that this was going to go on for anything like this long, and it looks like it may have to go on for a little while longer. Certainly some of the venues are still not looking like opening up even in the beginning of September. But we'll keep going with the videos in the meantime. So if you just want to start off with your posture check, back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that imaginary wall, open the chest, slide fingertips down, seam of trouser leg, tailbone pointing down, pressing tummy button to the backbone, pulling up into the rib cage so you can feel that pelvic floor lift. Maybe open the knees a little bit, arch of the foot lifting, and spreading out the toes. Weight even between the little toe and the big toe and the heels, and then breathing full and wide into the ribs so you keep your zip up and hollow. And if you just want to start at the back of your mat and just do a big shoulder shrug and then slide the fingertips down, seam of trouser leg. Maybe breathing in to pull up and breathing out to push down. Keeping the back of the head, the shoulder blades, the buttocks and the heels up against that imaginary wall. Just moving the shoulders, start to warm up the shoulders. Right up into the ears and stretching down. Then squeezing up and then adding a squat onto that. Take the hips back and down and then push up nice and tall. So you're taking the hips back, nice deep squat and push up tall. Trying to keep your knees going over the toes, no further forward than the toes. And standing up nice and tall. Maybe breathing in to go down, breathing out to push up. And then from here, going back to the start position and then squeeze shoulders up, push shoulders down, squat and stand up tall. Doing a big squeeze up, push down and squat. And then again, pulling up to warm up the shoulders and also hips, knees, thighs and buttocks. And then pushing up onto the balls of the feet and squeeze back with the arms. Pushing up and squeeze back. Working into those core muscles to balance, spreading out the toes. To spread the load, try not to let the ankles roll in or out. And one more time, warming up those calf muscles and ankles. And then squeeze up, push down and squat. Push up through the soles of the feet, lift up onto the balls of the feet and squeeze back and release. So doing a squeeze up, push down, deep squat, pushing up tall, push up and push back. Open the chest, feel those shoulder blades squeeze together. One more time, squeeze up, push down and squat. Push up nice and tall and then squeeze back and release. And then from here, just drop the chin down, relax the neck, relax the shoulders and do a lovely roll down towards the toes. Keep the tummy button pulled right up and in, just drop, drop, drop. Nodding, nodding, nodding the head. Shake, 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 shake the head. And then slowly come up, link by link, bone by bone, up against that imaginary wall. Shoulders back and down. And again, just getting flexibility into your spine. Switching on those core muscles. Peel yourself off the wall like a piece of wet wallpaper. Heading down. Nodding, nodding. Just let the arms dangle. Shake, 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 shake. And then again, slowly come up. All the way up against that wall. And then one more time, then we'll go down onto the mat. So again, just drop the chin, keep the arms close into the legs, keep that tummy button pulled up and in. Go down maybe that little bit further before you do your nodding. Get a good stretch through the back. Shake, 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 shake. Then bending the knees, putting the hands onto the floor. Walk out onto the hands and knees. And then just swing round into a sitting position. And then extending your left leg, hold on behind the right thigh, tilt the pelvis, create a C curve, and use those tummy muscles to control the speed at which you roll down. If that's not comfortable, you can always put the hands behind you to control, again, the speed at which you go down. And then replacing the foot to the floor, slide the other foot in so the knees are up, feet flat on the floor. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just float the arms up to shoulder height. And breathing in to push down. Keeping the torso absolutely stable, exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Make sure you keep that rib cage knitted down. Remember the chin stays down over the peach, you keep the length in the neck. Lifting the arms a little bit higher with each one. Sweeping round, up over the head, but keep the rib cage down. Because if your rib cage is flaring, your back is coming off the grape, which is in the small of your back. Nice and smooth. And maybe exhale all the way around, and then float the arms over the top of your head. Bring the arms down by your side. Exhale to sweep round, all the way, but keep the rib cage down. And then inhale over the top. Sweeping round, getting as much flexibility as you can into the shoulders, but keeping the torso as stable as possible. Then make them go the other way. Just lift up again, try to keep the gap between the rib cage and the pelvis exactly the same. So you don't want to take those arms too far over if that rib cage is flaring. Just take them as far as you can while you hold your ribs down. All the way up, big circle through the arms. And then relax, stretch the fingertips down towards your toes. And take a breath in. And as you breathe out, allow the right knee just to drop to the right side. Keep that glass of Prosecco balanced on the left knee while you slide that right side of the foot straight out. Turn the knee and the toes up and slide back in. Pop the Prosecco on the right knee and then allow that left knee to drop just as far as you can without the hip lifting. Sliding out, turn the knee and the toes up, slide back in. You can always rest your hands on your pelvis to make sure that it's not rocking. When you're dropping that right knee, make sure the left hip stays glued down. And then you swap your Prosecco again. Drop, make sure that right hip stays down and slide the side of the foot out, straight out to the end of the mat. Turn the knee and the toes up, slide back in. Warming up the hips, the knees, really switching on those core muscles to keep the back of the pelvis glued down. So your back needs to stay on the grape. Keep the natural curve in your spine. And then maybe one more time on either side. Just a little drop, just as far as you can. If you take it too far and the hip lifts, don't take it quite so far. And then one more time. Allow the knee to drop. Slide the side of the foot out. Turn the knee up. Slide back in. Hold that there. Stretch the fingertips towards your toes. And then just nod the head and release. And then turn the head. Look over your right shoulder. Bring it back to center. Nod. Give the peach a squeeze. Release. Turn the head over your left shoulder. Bring it back to center. So maybe exhale to nod. Inhale, release. Exhale, turn. Inhale, back. Exhale, nod. Inhale, release. Exhale, turn. Inhale, back. So it's just nodding, getting the length in the neck. Warming up the neck, getting flexibility in there. And then one more time to that left side. Finish off with the nod in the center, keeping everything else stable. Taking a moment to set up again, chin down over the peach, stretch your fingertips towards your toes. Trade marbles across the pelvis, grape in the small of your back. Keeping that trade marbles still. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lift the right knee up into tabletop position. Breathing in, allow the knee to drop just as far as you can without the opposing hip lifting. And then bring the leg back as you breathe out. In breath, extend the legs straight up, flex the foot, and push down slowly through some very thick custard. And then slide the leg back in again. And then you go with the other leg. Put the glass of Prosecco on that right knee while you lift that left leg up. Drop to the side, keep that right hip down, lift it back, straight, flex, and push down. And then slide back in, keeping that pelvis as stable as you can. Exhaling up, inhale, drop. Exhale back, inhale, straighten. Exhale, flex, and push down. When the heel touches the floor, breathing in, create some resistance against the floor with the heel. Keeping that pelvis as stable as you can. Getting flexibility into the hip and the knee. Whoops. Take it back out, bring it back, straighten up, flex, and push down. Slide in. So it's lift, side, center, straighten, flex, push. Let's see if I can get it right on the other side this time. Keeping that pelvis absolutely still. Working into the hip flexor as you push down, lengthening and strengthening. Hamstring working as you slide back in. So it's a lift and a little bit of outer thigh, but mainly core, inner thigh, quadricep, and then pushing down with that hip flexor muscle. A little bit of buttock going on there to control then your hamstring. One more time on the other side, but mainly, of course, keeping your zip up and hollow to keep that pelvis stable all the time, that tray of marbles still. And then from there, hold it there. Take your tray of marbles off, put it to one side, and start with a pelvic tilt. And release. Just crush the grate. Bring the hip bones into the bottom of the rib cage. Make sure you keep your chin down over the peach all the time, not tilting the chin back. Scooping out the tummy, relax the buttocks. Just isolate those tummy muscles, working into those deep, deep muscles. And then just bring the feet and the knees together. Then your inner thighs will work a little bit. And breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick the hips up off the floor. Hold up at the top, push the knees forward towards the wall in front of you. And then link by link, bone by bone, imprint you back into the mat. Crush the grape, tilt the pelvis back into neutral, put a new grape in, start again. So you're doing tilt, peel off, hold up, push those knees forward, feel your buttocks clench, and then link by link, bone by bone, you come back down again. Add your pelvic floor, breathing in to tilt, breathing out to pick up the hips, pick up the pelvic floor, hold up at the top, keep those knees glued together, and then link by link you come back down again. So you're balancing on the shoulder blades, the shoulder soles of the feet. Getting lots of flexibility into your spine. Remember, if that's too much to push up, you can always just stay with the pelvic tilt. Try and keep those knees together and the inner thighs work. And pulling up that pelvic floor. And see if you can breathe in to tilt, breathing out to pick the hips up. Hold up at the top, breathing in, breathing out. One arm over, and breathing in to swap. Breathing out to swap, breathing in to swap. Holding those knees together, holding the hips up high. Feel those buttocks work. And then see if you can bring the arm back down again, and then open and close the legs. Maybe add the arms. Open and close. Keep those hips up high. If this is too much, put the hips down onto the floor and just open and close the arms and the legs. And then from there, just with control, link by link, bone by bone, imprint into the mat. And then just hug those knees into the chest, head to knees, nose to knees, knees to nose. Hug it all in. Remember, you can wrap one arm around the legs, one hand behind the head. Just make yourself into a ball.
hold and stretch your spine. Make it go the other way. And then relax, putting the head and the shoulders down. One foot down, then the other foot down. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, lift one knee up into tabletop. Then if you can, press your back into the mat. Lift the other leg up into tabletop. Brace your tummy, put your little grate back underneath. Trade marbles back in position. And then just let one knee drop out. Bring it back. Straighten, flex, push down. That's a little bit more tricky when you've got the other leg in tabletop. So if it's too much, of course, you put the feet back to the floor. So you just drop out, bring it back, straighten up, flex and push down. Slide in and pull up. So maybe just exhale out, inhale back, straighten up, flex, push down, slide back in and lift it up. So inhale, exhale, inhale, flex, push down, slide in and lift up. Really try to keep the torso as stable as you can, making sure when you push down through your thick custard, the back does not arch off the grape. And when you lift the legs up, that you don't crush your grape and tilt the pelvis the other way. Nice and smooth. So getting lots of flexibility into the hip, the knee, the ankle, but really now switching on those core muscles. Maybe one more time either side. Just work with your breathing, pushing down, slide in and up. Last time, keeping that right knee, dropping the left leg, absolutely stable while you do this. If you want to do some more, you can always pause and do a few more. And then hug those knees into the chest. Maybe have a little rock side to side. Just ease out your back. Ease it out. And then putting the hands on tops of the knees, push them around in a circle. Just circle the knees around. Easing out those hips, easing out your back, flexibility for your hips. Change direction, make it go the other way. Nice big circles. And then putting one foot down, the other foot down. And then if you just want to stretch the legs out and then roll gently over onto your front. Taking the hands just underneath the shoulders, elbows tucked into the side, pointing towards the waist. Forehead on the floor if that's comfortable. If it's not, you can turn your head to the side and let your cheek rest. And then lengthening through the legs, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles aligned. Tummy button, of course, pulled up and in. And then keeping that tummy engaged, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just hover the head, the shoulders, the chest off the floor. And breathe in and go down. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Of course, you can turn your head to the side. Lift, turn, look at the floor. And then gently take the cheek back down. If you can, forehead on the floor. And keep the neck in line. Plank of wood on the back of your head. Peach underneath your chin, between your chin and your chest. Eyes focused on the floor. Ears pointing forward. Just imagine I've got my hand pressing down between the shoulder blades and you lifting up into my hand, which is pressing down. Trying to push with the arms, just stabilize with the arms. And then see if you can add onto that. See if you can exhale up, inhale, hold, exhale, hover the hands and then inhale, down. So you would do exhale, lift, inhale, hold. Exhale, hover, and inhale, gently back down.
Sliding those shoulder blades down your back, keeping everything below the waist still, keeping the buttocks relaxed, just concentrating on your back. If you find that your legs are lifting, just take the feet out wider, turn the big toes in towards one another to relax the buttocks. Hovering the hands, squeeze those shoulder blades back a little bit, working that posture muscle across the upper back. And then relaxing down, maybe bring the hands underneath the forehead. Keep sliding those shoulder blades down so the neck stays long. Bring the legs back into alignment, so that tummy button pulls up and in, cup of tea on the back of the pelvis. And then just go with lifting and lowering alternate legs. Working into the buttock, but still the core muscles working to keep you stable. Think about lengthening rather than lifting high. Relaxing the neck, relaxing the shoulders. Then maybe you could do a single leg, and then a single leg, and then both together. But of course, if that's too much, you could just stay with the alternate single legs. But if you add the double in, you're adding in that lower back as well, and your buttocks will clench a little bit more. So single, single, or single, single, double. Or of course you could just keep going with the doubles. But make sure the knees don't bend, and keep that cup of tea on the back of your pelvis still, with that tummy button pulled up and in all the time. And then when you think you've done enough of those, just come up onto the hands and knees. If it's comfortable, sit back onto the heels. Let the forehead rest down. You can take the arms behind your palms up, but make sure you don't lift your hips to get your head down. Keep the hips down. Maybe make a fist. Put the head on the fist. If there's still a gap, you put the other fist on top of it. Or remember, you can always sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you, reach over beach ball for toes, or sit and hug the knees into the chest. What you want is that lower back and buttocks to stretch, because we're going to join the two together now. So scooting back out onto your front, elbows tucked in, and the hands underneath the shoulders, forehead on the floor if you can. But then this time, a little bit different, you're going to just take a breath in, and as you breathe out, push all the way up if you can. Hold it there, and then gently bring it back down. So you're pushing all the way up, and you're coming really up onto your thighs, getting flexibility into your spine. If that's not comfortable for you, if it's too much, just take the arms to the side, crucifix position, bend the elbows at a 90-degree angle, and push up, so you haven't got quite as much bend in your back. So you decide which level, but keep the peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. If you can, you push all the way up, maybe hold to breathe in, and breathing out, gently bring it back down again. Arms in whichever position suits you, but making sure that those shoulders don't creep up around the ears. If the shoulders are creeping up, you need that position. Then, of course, you see if you can add some legs in. So what you do is lengthening through the legs, and then push up and hold to breathe in. Breathing out as you come down, just start to lift leg or legs up. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, push up. So it's a seesaw. And you're coming down, and your legs come up, head down, legs up, and then you swap, getting lots of flexibility into your spine, working your buttocks and of course the backs of the arms. Remember, you can have arms out, crucifix position, exactly the same thing, and maybe just lift one leg. If it's too much to lift both, we could do the upper body first, go down, and then you could even do single, single, double with the legs. You can do upper body and lower body separately. You can decide. Then if you would like to work that a little bit harder, and you would just push up and do it quicker and hover the hands. Push up, quicker, hover the hands. Push up and hover the hands. And repeat. But if that's too much, you stay with any which one of the earlier options. Make sure you keep your head up so you're not going to smack your head on the floor. And then when you've done enough of those, come back to your start position, onto the hands and knees, arch the back up, drop the head, and give your back a good stretch. Maybe come up onto the knuckles if that's more comfortable. Tuck the pelvis under, drop the head. Look back between the thighs. And then maybe just cross the arms, please, at the wrists, as you weight your upper back a little bit there too. And maybe bring the hands closer in to the knees. Bigger arch. And swapping the crossover. If that's not comfortable, you can sit on your bottom. Swing your legs around in front of you. Hug a big beach ball into your chest. And drop the head over the ball. And then if you're doing that, then you could reach over the ball, tuck your pelvis under the ball and stretch your lower back and buttocks more. Or hug the knees into the chest. But if you're still on your hands and knees, you would of course just sit back onto the heels and do that lower back stretch again. Maybe open the knees a little bit, get those hips back further. Breathe full and wide. Get a good stretch in the lower back and the buttocks. And coming up onto the elbows and knees, if that is comfortable for you. If it is not, then you could always just, if it's the knees, you could go down on your hips, tuck your toes underneath you, and plank. But if that's no good, you could just lie on your front and pull your tummy button right up and in and engage the tummy, because that's what we're going to do. It's just going to engage in that tummy, putting the tummy button right up into the backbone. So you can decide, but if you can, elbows and knees, tuck your toes under, obviously strengthening the toes too, and bring the knees and the feet together, and then just hover the knees off the floor. So immediately those core muscles are going to work. Keep that pelvis tucked under slightly. Hold on the in-breath and out-breath. You just go down. And then just hover, hold, and then gently take it back down. Tummy button pulled up and in. Engage all the time. Load bearing, of course, for your upper body. But you can do full plank, or you can lie on your front instead. So just hovering. Keep those knees together, then the inner thighs work a little bit. And then see if you could add onto that. See if you can hover the knees, keep them together, and then swing to one side as you exhale, inhale back. Exhale, swing to the other side, inhale back and down. So you're going to get a little twist onto the waist. If you're doing full plank, what you could do, half plank here, just come up onto the toes, swing hips to one side, swing hip to the other side, and go down. If you're on your front, same thing. Pull the tummy button up and in, hip to one side, hip to the other side, and repeat. So you decide which level you're going for here. Keeping those knees together if you're on your toes. Make sure the knees are just hovering half an inch or so off the floor. Nice and smooth. Just do as many as you can, and then bring it back. Sit back on the heels, forehead down, and have a good stretch. Or of course sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you. Hug the knees into the chest, or reach over the beach ball for your toes. Now there is one more in that position, if you can manage this. Back up onto the elbows and knees again. Tuck the toes under. Keep the knees and the feet together. This time, pulling up that pelvic floor as well, because you're going to lift the knees and then open and close. Pull up that pelvic floor at the same time. 5, 7, or 10, you can decide. On the full plank thing, You obviously can't open and close the legs, but you could come up and just really engage that core and pull up your pelvic floor and maybe hold for a couple of breaths. If you're doing it on your front, you can of course lift the legs, open, close, pulling up the pelvic floor, and repeat 5, 7 or 10. If it's too much to lift both the legs, you would lift one, out, in, down, other leg out, in and down. So there you've got your various options there. Maybe still going. If you've completed your 5, 7 or 10, again, just sit back onto the heels and release. Lower back and buttocks, stretching through the arms, either forward or back, just to release the shoulders. Hold that there. Or of course, sit on your bottom, swing your legs round in front of you, reach over the beach ball or sit and hug the knees into the chest. Have a nice stretch. And then from there, just coming up into a sitting position. And sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back and down, peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. Have the orange width between the knees, engaging the tummy. Then starting nice and easy with a pelvic tilt, and breathing in to tilt, and breathing out to lengthen. Just sitting on the pointy bones at the bottom, tilting the pointy bones forward, creating a C curve, scooping out the tummy. Breathing in maybe to tilt, and breathing out to lengthen. If you want to stay with that, of course, you can stay with that. Otherwise, bring the hands into a prayer position and tilt the pelvis and lengthen up. So a little bit more challenging when you're not holding on behind the thighs. Keeping the shoulders down, the orange between the knees, and tilt as you breathe in, breathing out to come up. Maybe you could add a little twist or just do a twist as you sit and bring it back to center. Twist as you sit, bring it back to center. Or you could do the curl back a little bit and add the twist onto that. Tilt and roll back, looking forward over the fingertips as you exhale to twist. Inhale back, exhale twist, inhale back, and then pull back up. Or you could just stay with the twist, or you could just stay with the pelvic tilt, and of course you can hold on behind the thighs with that if you need to. Doing the tilt and roll back, and then just exhale, twist, inhale back, exhale, twist, inhale back, pulling up, keeping everything below the waist still. Maybe you could add on to that one. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to roll back, hold to breathe in, breathing up, peel the right arm away, keep the shoulder down, look along the arm, bring the hand back, and pull up. Now if you find you get tight in the hip flexors, just straighten the legs out, tilt and roll back, hold to breathe in, breathing up, peel the other arm away, hold to breathe in, breathing out, bring the hand back and pull back up. So you can have the legs in whichever position you prefer. Doing that tilt and roll back. And if you can, you do your twist, peel the arm away. If that's too much, of course, you can stay with the earlier options. Just tilt and roll it back and peel away. Really working those core muscles around the middle, a natural corset of muscle around your middle. Just a tilt and a roll. Make sure the shoulders don't creep up. Turn the head, getting flexibility into the neck, as well as the spine and the shoulder. Reaching back. And then maybe if you wanted to, you could add a leg into that. Breathing in to tilt, breathing out to roll back, hold to breathe in, breathing out, extend opposite arm and leg. And pull back and lengthen. Tilt, roll it back, peel the arm away, and pull back up. If that's too much, of course, you can just stay with the straight legs. You can stay with just moving the upper body. You can just do pelvic tilt. You can do any of the earlier options. So you can decide, you can add the leg in or not. Or maybe you could do both legs. You could do tilt and roll back, and then twist and peel away the arm, and do both the legs. So more challenging for those deep, deep abdominal muscles, which you've got lots of options there that you can work with. And just repeat the level that you find is more challenging, but you can manage with control. Maybe one more time, but you can do more if you prefer. Feel those tummy muscles work. And then hugging the knees into the chest, drop the head over the knees, and have a stretch there. Release, hug in, drop the head. And then from here, taking the hands behind, rest them on the floor, and hover the feet. And then just tilt the pelvis and roll back onto the heel of the hand. So you bring it, lifting your fingers up, rolling back onto the heel of the hand, and relax back down. Just popping back up a little bit, but keep the shoulders down. Make sure the shoulders don't creep up. Fingers pointing towards the hips, and roll it back. Now again, if that's too much, you can still hold on behind the thighs and just pelvic tilt if you prefer. Otherwise, you can always make that a little bit more challenging, not putting the feet down in between, just a little rock forward and back. Or you can hold on behind the thighs, make sure you've got enough mat to roll down on, and then still holding onto the orange and the peach. Create the C curve, hover the feet, and then roll like a ball, and come up and catch it at the top without putting the feet on the floor if you can. Tilt and feel each bone as it touches the mat. So you've got to really create a good C curve, keeping the shoulders down. Peach underneath the chin, making yourself into a ball. Roll back. Try not to go any further back than the shoulder blades, so you're not bashing your head on the floor. Create that C curve, make a ball, and roll it back. And then pull up. Maybe breathing in, just roll it back, and breathing out to pull up. Trying to pull on the legs, trying to move the legs. You can check by making a little monitoring system. Thumbs into the rib cage, little fingers on the thighs. And then if you're losing contact, then you know that your legs are doing that. And you want to keep the legs at exactly the same angle. Or you could put your monitoring system between your thigh and your calf. Exactly the same. Balance at the top. Now, if you want to, you could make it more challenging. Maybe just hold that there, hold it on behind the thighs, and then unbend and bend. Just unbend and bend the legs. Holding that there. And really working those core muscles. Or maybe you could open the knees and put the hands on the outside of the ankles. Toes together, unbend, bend. Let me just show you that. So your hands are on your ankles and you unbend and bend, unbend and bend. Balancing. Now you could do the roll back with that, the roll like a ball. You could put your hands behind, between your thighs, hold on to the outside of your ankles, and keep your toes together, create your C curve, roll it back and pull up. And that's a lot more challenging. So you might just need to stay holding on behind the thighs. You decide. Or you could just balance and hold. Just balance and hold. Those core muscles working really, really hard. Or even go back to just the pelvic tilt. Make sure you create that C curve and balance and hold it at the top. But you decide which level you're going to go for there. And then if you just want to, hug those knees into the chest, drop the head over the knees, and stretch. Hug in and stretch. And then from there, out. Make sure you've got enough mat to roll down on. Reaching forward, tilt the pelvis, create your C shape. And then link by link, bone by bone, roll onto the floor. Remember, you can always hold on behind one thigh to control the speed. And then release the leg. Keep doing that, and then just take the arms over the top of your head and give yourself a big stretch through from the tips of your fingers to your toes. Lengthen through the legs. Lift the rib cage out of the pelvis. Breathe. Get a really good stretch there. And just bringing the arms back down by your side. Slide the feet in, knees up, and then bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees flop apart. Stretch those inner thighs. Let the weight of your legs take your knees towards the floor. Relax. Stretch those inner thighs. And then lifting the knees up, just bring the feet onto the edges of the mat, knees wide. Take the arms out to the side, crucifix position, turning the palms down. And then roll the knees over to your right side while you turn your head and look along that left arm. Hold that there. Remember, with this one, you can pick your right foot up and just pop it on top of the other thigh. To ease the leg over that a little bit more, get some more stretch down the side, round your middle, and the outside of the hip and thigh. And then replace the foot and swap to the other side. Keep the feet wide, turn the head, look along the opposite arm. And then if you want to, you can put your left foot on top of your right thigh. Hold that there, just ease across. Get a lovely stretch. And then gently bring it back to center. And then stretch the legs out. And roll gently over, please, onto your front. Take the forehead down onto the back of one hand. Reach behind with the other hand for the foot on the same side. Knees together, press the hip into the floor, stretching the front of the thigh. Remember, you can always lift your head and shoulders if you want to press that hip down that little bit more, get some more stretch in the front of the hip and the thigh. And then release and change. Remember, you can always, if you can't get hold of the sock, get hold of the, if you can't get hold of the foot, get hold of the sock or the trouser leg, or you can always cross the ankle over and ease the leg in if that works better. Lift your head and shoulders, but keep the eyes focused on the back of the hand. Then you're not engaging your neck. And replacing foot to floor, coming up onto the hands and knees. And then doing a nice back stretch, arch the back, drop the head, pull the tummy button up and in. And stretch in the back of your neck, all the way down to your tail. Just drop, drop, drop the head. Ears pointing down, tailbone down. Keep that tummy button pulled right up and in. And then just relax and walk the hands into the knees. Tuck the toes under. Hover the knees off the floor, push the hips up into the air. Hold that there. Walk the hands in a little bit more and try and have the legs as straight as you can. Push the knees back so you get a good stretch in those hamstrings. Behind the knees up into the thighs. You might need to come up a little bit to get those legs straight. And then bend the knees slightly and then just do it again. Drop the head. Push the knees back, get a really good stretch. You can feel some stretch in the buttocks, a bit of lower back as well. Hold that there, have a little dangle. And then relax the knees, slightly bent, link by link, bone by bone, engaging the tummy all the way up, shoulders back and down. And just focusing on your posture again. And drop the right ear down into the shoulder while you slide the left hand down, seam of trouser leg. Hold that there. Stretch neck, stretch the shoulder. Turn the head and look down at that right shoulder, keeping the chest open. Slowly turn the head and look up and behind into the left corner. Hold that there, up and behind, keeping your torso stable. Then just gently drop the chin all the way down into the chest. Slide your shoulder blades down your back, shoulders away from the ears. Lengthen through the neck. Keep that tailbone pointing down with your zip up and hollow, pulling up that pelvic floor a little bit. And then lifting the head back up against that imaginary wall. And drop the left ear while the right hand slides down. Hold and stretch. Turning head looking down at that left shoulder. Try to keep as stable as you can while you turn your head and look up and behind to the right. Just as far as you can. And gently dropping the chin all the way back down into the chest again. Lifting the head up and releasing the shoulders forward, up and round and back and down. Just get those shoulders moving again. Nice big, big, big shoulder roll. And then from there, keeping the chest open, taking the feet a little bit wider, relax the knees, and then just do a little twist side to side, loosen up. And there we are, session number 16. I hope you feel stretched and a little bit more supple and mobile. And again, thank you very much for all your contributions, but please could I have one or two more little photographs of you and even your pets doing some Pilates. And maintain your perfect Pilates posture. And I will talk to you again next week. Bye for now.